Hey there, it's Diane Forster, and welcome to I Have Today, the show that inspires, educates, and empowers you through life's transitions. And each week on this show, I bring on the coolest, most amazing, awesome CEOs, entrepreneurs, experts, authors, and truly life changers who've gone through their own reinventions in life and have come out on the other side successful. And they come on this show to share their stories with us. And I am super excited about my guest today because he is not only my friend, but he is on this mission and journey to change the world, and he is doing it. And let me introduce you to Ken Rochon. Hey, Ken, how are you?
How are you doing, buddy, sister, Diane?
I'm doing so good. I'm so excited to have you on the show. You guys are in for a treat today. What we're talking about is healing benefits of a smile. That's the theme of the show. And our intention statement is, I have today to heal others with my smile. So we're going to talk about why we're talking about smiles, the importance of that. And then that intention statement, if you follow me on social media at Diane Forster Official, on my Instagram page, we have a button there with wallpapers. Every week for every show, we create wallpaper for you so that that intention statement can really get anchored in and you can look at it and use it. So check it out at Diane Forster Official. All right. All right. Let me tell you about Ken. Ken Rochon Jr., a Renaissance man, humanitarian, and an accomplished serial entrepreneur, established his success with the Umbrella Syndicate, Perfect Publishing, and Absolute Entertainment. He is a social proof celebrity event photographer, international keynote speaker, and published author of over 26 books. He is the co-author of the nonprofit organization, the Keep Smiling Movement, and previous honoree as America's most influential business connector and Entrepreneur of the Year. And his son, K3, is the light of his life. Hey, Ken, so great to
Hey,
have you. Wow.
likewise. Thank you.
And I know that was the abbreviated version of your bio. I know you've accomplished so much more. And I'm so excited to have this conversation today because you know I'm a big fan of the Keep Smiling movement. And what I'd like you to do first is really share your story, how all of this came to be.
Well, first of all, when I wrote that bio, I was thinking, what would impress your guest? So I just made it all up.
Yeah, you know, you're so
So,
good at that.
so my story is actually one that is a transition from being a workaholic and entrepreneur, a DJ for some 30 years, and having a day of my life just jolted with finding out my mom had dementia and Alzheimer's, and just making a decision to be a caregiver. And it has got the ups and downs of a life transition. It causes you to ask questions like, am I living a purpose-driven life, and what am I doing that matters in life, and am I creating a legacy, all these things. And I realized a kind of a rude awakening that I was just a workaholic, materialistic, all me. And I had a thriving business, and I guess I wasn't happy. That's the bottom line. Wasn't happy. I mean, as much as I was making, it wasn't serving anyone else, and it wasn't even serving me. So I started praying about it in a 3-year period of watching my mom digress and then finally passing. I decided to turn my life over to God, and I said, you know what? Just tell me what I'm supposed to do. And my wife almost killed me. I spent like 20K on cameras because that was an art form that allowed me to express what I saw as beautiful. And I had gotten a couple art grants, and I decided, you know what? Let me go to events and just work for free and see if I can make a difference. And so I would volunteer to do nonprofits and go to events, probably about 330 events in 1 year I did for free. And of course, you move the needle when you do something like that. So in the Baltimore, DC area, those are very diametrically, I won't say opposed, but very different cultures. DC is more of a white collar city, and
Right.
Baltimore is more of a blue collar. And I had both cities, accepting me and inviting me to the biggest friggin' events you could possibly go to in those cities. And I would meet politicians. I'd go to the White House. I'd go to these galas. I mean, just over the top. And one thing I learned in my business side is, what is value? And that's really important. If you're volunteering your time, you need to establish that it's got a value to it. And I don't share this very much, Diane, but you are someone that I think really inspires people to know their value. And
Mm-hmm.
especially with your message of I have today, it's like, what value are you bringing to today? And
Right.
so I would tell people, my time is worth a lot. I'll give it to you. but I want it to be acknowledged that it's worth a lot. So I would trade my time for, upwards of $5,000 for an
Yes. Wow.
appearance. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was able to get my name out there and get to these all big invites because I already knew what I was doing with marketing. So to make a long story short, I learned that what I wanted to do was amplify the goodness of leaders.
Mm. Wow. Well, you do that beautifully. You really do. And so, talk about the Keep Smiling movement. How did that come to be?
Well, you are the first person to read the bio with the word co-founder. There was
Mm.
because Barry was a founder of the Keep Smiling card, and I was a founder of really the book, and so we've just recently decided that we'll be co-founders of the movement because without him, there is no movement for me. He gave me a card, and I said, "What does this card mean?" He says, it's a card to remind you to shift into positivity, to shift into gratitude, to shift into love, peace, and acceptance, and joy." And it is so empowering and freeing when you actually move from whatever your angst is, your worry, into a smile because you all of a sudden start thinking about love. You start thinking about how grateful you are. And you can't eat a meal and if you smile, you say, wow, this meal is something I'm getting as a gift. Not everyone gets this
Right.
gift.
Right.
And so I started taking pictures of people. And Diane, you're one of the people I saw at so many events. And I just want to acknowledge you that you're someone that gets out of your comfort zone. You go to big events, you rub elbows with some of the top people. So it's not too surprising to me to see the success you've had. And one of the messages I want to have for your audience is that when you have today, you have an opportunity to step out of your comfort zone, to make a difference for someone else, to go to an event that may not make sense, but all of a sudden it will after you go there and you see people that are actually doing the same thing you're doing, which is getting uncomfortable, leading, learning, and taking it back to their family, to the business, to whatever. But the contacts we've made, I mean, can you imagine if you didn't go to CEO Space, Secret Knock, Digital Footprint? I mean, we wouldn't have the relationship we have.
This is so true. It's true.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's definitely about getting uncomfortable. Yes. Not making today the same exact day that you had the day before. Because if that's the case, then it's stagnant and you didn't do anything, and if you're not evolving and expanding and growing, then you're dying. And with that comes stepping out of that comfort zone and getting uncomfortable. And because of that, here we are, you and me today, together doing this and sharing this experience. So thank you for the acknowledgement. I appreciate it.
Yes, and also we both. I know this about you because you couldn't be doing what you're doing if you didn't have this transition. You caused the word uncomfortable to equal success. You caused the word uncomfortable to equal growth. You caused the uncomfortable to mean your life matters more, that you connect at a bigger level, that you get more meaning in life. Period. So I know because there's no way you'd keep going into uncomfortable places if you weren't putting the word as it's a gift to be uncomfortable.
Yes.
It's alive. You're living. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Great.
out of doing all these photos, Diane, what I did was obviously with you, I had a lot of choices because you played big and you have a wonderful smile, and a smile is a gift you give to someone else. It's a gift you give to yourself too. And I've been recently corrected that adults don't smile enough and that they might smile 1/10 as much as children. So I have a little research to do, maybe even to correct a book I was going to give that I'm willing to give to your guest. But
Great.
it's a research book about how smiles actually increase your health, your mental health, your physical health, everything. And so when I made my first Keep Smiling books, I did it because I didn't want the photos to die. It's so funny. If I
Okay.
take your photo and I put it on Facebook, how long does it live?
Right. A
It's
few
about a day.
hours a day.
About, yeah, day
Mm-hmm.
tops if it goes viral.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about the shame of someone picking that picture and saying, this is my favorite picture of me showing love to the world. And not that it dies, but that it gets hidden too much. And so I said, I'm going to make a book just as a trial. And I made my very first book, 2016, of Keep Smiling. And it was just Keep Smiling, Shift Happens. And I did this with 3 months of practice of saying, no matter how I wake up, no matter what mood I'm in, I will smile and practice smiling and have gratitude and shift my mood. And all of a sudden, the universe would say, gosh, thank you. Thank you for wanting such a great day. We're going to go ahead and give it to you. So I was blown away by that shift aspect. And so when I gave the book to people to look at, they couldn't put it down. And Diane, when you see people that are all leaders and people that you want to follow and people you may not know that you about them, but you see the theme is that they're leaders and they have a great message, a great mission, the book gets read. So
Yes.
I'd never seen a book that was not put down. Like most people look at a book and they say, okay, there's a lot of words in there. I don't have time. But this was a
Yes.
pictorial book, and I'd say 80% of it, 90% of it is pictorial, and the other 10%, which is your hope a dose, your dose of hope. I'm sorry, dose of hope.
Dose, d- dose of hope.
Yeah, dose of hope. It allows someone 10 minutes to kind of put things in perspective and see someone else that may have gone through way harder circumstances, way harder challenges, create something really magical in their life. And I have had the good fortune of not only having you, but over 100 other people like yourself that, it's not easy being successful. It's certainly not like, and by the way, if it was easy, you wouldn't cherish it. You wouldn't relish
Right.
it. You wouldn't actually stand tall and say, I earned it, you know?
Right. Right.
So,
Exactly. Exactly.
I'd like to turn this back over to you from a standpoint that you actually experience this on a level that maybe not all people that interview me do. So I called you and I said, "Hey, Diane, you're doing really wonderful things in the world. You have a great show. You really are preaching and living a life that people can actually be inspired by. Would you consider doing a Keep Smiling book?" And you accepted quickly. And I want to acknowledge that you saw the love of the gift and you accepted it and you did it powerfully. I mean, I think you did the whole thing in hours and you had the whole book honestly sent to me within a week. I mean, the entire
Yes.
thing. And I was really impressed by that. But you're someone that actually understands how a gift can be taken and given for all. Like I benefit, you benefit, the readers benefit, the people you chose benefit. So can I show the book real quick?
Of course. Absolutely. Yes. So this is the book that Ken and I did together called Keep Smiling. And this book is Self-Love Happens because that's what we're all about it. I have today. And you did such a beautiful job with it. And I want to tap in before you go on and
Mhm.
just point out a couple of things for the audience, a few things that you said. Highlight the fact that this book, by the way, here's my copy of the book. This is a book that you're right. People get their hands on it and they can't help but read it and want to read it. And you're right. The what you call the dose of hope in the back is
Yeah.
my story and your story that's readable in about 10 minutes. And you think, well, this is sort of a nothing book, like it's a picture book. This shifts you. You feel better when you have your hands on this and you see this and you see all these smiles and you hear everybody's quotes and you read them. It really has this magical, profound effect. And when you reached out to me and asked me to be a part of it, I did jump on it. And I said, and we talked about it. And you said, well, what would you like it to be? And I said, well, definitely women empowerment. And I'd like to do it on self love. And you said, great. And I remember I wrote it over a weekend. And I thought, you said it would take about 2 hours. And it took me about four because I
Okay.
really got into it. I'm being honest because I
Right.
really enjoyed the process of it, and the way you structured it was so simple and easy for me to do. So I'm doing this as a plug, and I want to commend you and congratulate you to your success for figuring out a formula to create these books and this magic for people that makes it really simple and easy for them to tell their story and to be a part of the movement. So
So
um,
since you were such an early adopter, Diane, after this call, I do want to give you some good news that there is ways that the book can actually be improved. And the good thing about life is that life doesn't stop until God says it's over, right? So
yes.
that's the same for your book. So I'm
Mhm.
gonna share with you because we're launching the book obviously the week of May 25th. So it's going to be this week, and
Yes.
and it's
Yeah.
going out to 12,000 media outlets, and all the authors, including yourself, are going to be invited to tons of TV shows and radio shows and podcasts to share your story. But this is kind of a TED talk.
Mm.
Simon Sinek was able to brilliantly say a company that understands their why and can communicate the why, or I should say that the people can communicate the why of the company, is going to
Yes.
be very successful. And
Mhm.
what I did was I was inspired by that TED talk, and I said, how can I do a TED talk that's about leaders? And so I said, every leader I've known had to go through a lot of stuff to become that leader. And so I think the creation of who is such an amazing gift that you give to people, because most people talk about their expertise and they
Right.
don't tell about the journey that caused that expertise or their unstoppability. Because anyone that made it to the top, it's really that they just didn't quit. They would not stop until they actually got. And so the higher your who is, which is your journey, the higher your why is with integrity. Like you cannot stop but have a powerful why if you created a who that's so powerful. And because the why is so powerful, your deliverables to the world is actually high, which is the integrity of the abundance, the integrity of solving problems, and yes, the integrity of inspiring hope and joy. So you did a brilliant job on that. And I want to say something else on the air is that sometimes people that have high expectations, um, you can take people can take them the wrong way, and they can actually say, oh, this was this is a pain, or someone like you could say, hey Ken, I hope I'm not driving you crazy. And I want to say on the air that you are someone that has such high standards. I applaud it every single time that you would say, hey Ken, this could be better in the book, or this, I want to change this and that. And I want to tell you that when people hear a person like Diane making this correct, that's because she cares. That's because she wants the best message to represent her, but also represent the project. And I wanted to announce that to you, Diane, on the air, but that you may have said, you sent maybe 5, 6, maybe even 10 emails. This can be done. Change this, please, and all of it was very cordial, professional, and we got it done together.
Mm-hmm.
And people that don't take advantage of having that standard that high actually have two things happen: the product gets lower, but their desire to share the product gets lower.
Right.
Yeah, so because they're not,
Exactly.
so this was really a great partnership, and I love doing the project with you.
Well, I love doing it with you as well. And I love being a part of this. I'm honored and humbled to be, and I'm excited about that, what's happening this week, the announcement of going out to all the media outlets, and you're living your dream, and you're so on purpose with this, which is not easy. And let me speak during on the mic with everybody and let everyone know what Ken went through to put this, extraordinary project together, 100 books like this. And he did it for free. I mean, it was pro bono work. He used his own money, his own resources to do this. What it cost me was my time, that's it. And so to do this and just to be giving in such a beautiful way means that I know that the universe is going to provide for you 1,000-fold. And
Well, here
that's
we are
not
today.
why you did it. Right. That's not why you did it. That's just the way it works. And yeah, he already did. Yeah. That's beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah,
All right.
there's a quote of a movie I saw recently. It's from a movie called Greater. It's a Christian movie, and the guy is practicing at something like 3 o'clock in the morning, and the coach comes in and turns the lights off, and turns the lights on, and he goes, "Who's out there?" And Brandon says, "It's me, coach." And he says, "What are you doing out there?" And he says, "I'm practicing." And he says, "Oh, how long have you been doing this?" And he goes, "Ever since I moved to Arkansas." And it was 4 years of him practicing 3 o'clock in the morning arm because he wanted to be the best.
Mm.
And he said, and the coach said, well, good character is defined by people that don't care that someone's watching. And he said, someone's always watching.
Someone's always watching. That's
Yeah, which is
beautiful.
God. So
Yes.
yeah. So can I
Beautiful.
can I share can I show some of my books just real quick?
Absolutely. That's why we're here.
So this is obviously yours.
Yes.
This is a gentleman who cooks some of the best food in the Baltimore D.C. area, and his is a
Okay.
wine and dine. This is Dr. Ivan Meisner's, who has
Okay.
250,000 people in his BNI organization. This is
Wow.
Leo Hefner,
Wow.
and he's the San Diego. So these are all, like, if you were to travel San Diego, these are the people you want to meet. Here's veterans. I'm not going to do this that long, Diane. I'm just showing some
No.
highlight ones.
Okay. Yeah.
Here's the
Veterans.
African one. Here's African one. These are from
Mm-hmm.
the embassies. This is Steve Farber, our mutual friend.
Yes. Love Steve Farber.
And we love photographers and videographers. And then Megan, she has the
I
I'm
do
Enough.
know Megan. Yes.
So
She's got a beautiful movement as well.
yep. And then there's Mr. Paul Young. He's the guy who wrote The Shack.
Yes.
And we have to acknowledge bald people. And I know, Diane, after the show, you're going to actually shave your head so you can be in this book. And then this is one of my favorite covers. This is,
Love that.
and then our executive director, obviously Andrea. So we have
Yes.
100 books, as you said, and we want people to do this template, even if they don't publish it, because it's therapeutic and it actually reminds. I have 3 TEDx questions I'm going to ask when I do my TED talk, and they're not the template. Actually, it's do you have a story that would inspire others and inspire yourself? And if not, why? I mean, that's a really cool question to ask in a I have today type of question. What am I
Absolutely.
doing today that's going to inspire people, and what would inspire me? Right.
Right. Right.
Number 2 is, who are the 100 people out of your 50,000, 5,000, 500 friends on Facebook, who are the 100 that uplift you, pull you up, and inspire you? And who are the ones below you that push you up and support you because no matter what you do, they want you to win? And those are the
Mm,
100 you put in your book. And the third and my
yes.
favorite question of all is I'm still getting used to the acronym uh, SPH. Okay, SPH. Smiles per
SPH.
hour. Smiles per hour.
Smiles per
How many
hour.
smiles per hour are you having, and how many are you inspiring and creating every day? And I have a theory, Diane, that the more smiles you're creating and inspiring, the more abundant you are.
Oh,
And abundance comes in all ways. It comes in freedom, it comes in power, it comes in health, it comes in money, of course, and it comes in relationships.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, a smile. So, yeah, and there's obviously the scientific benefits behind it too, but the bottom line is it just feels good. And no matter what you're doing, when you're smiling, you feel better. I was working out this morning and I put a smile on my face and it made it better. And then
Mm-hmm.
when you receive a smile, when you give it and then you receive a smile from somebody, I think my quote in the book is that it's the universal language. It means the same
Yes.
thing everywhere. It's so powerful. So I
You,
agree.
you may have put that we have a different communication. We have the universal language is music, and the universal expression is a smile.
Oh,
And
okay.
but
Sorry.
you are correct. The language of a smile is no one's confused when they see a smile on someone's face. They don't say, "I think they hate me." Right? They
Right.
think acceptance. They think love. They think peace. So you're 100% right. I want to say that there's never enough time to talk about all the benefits. So this book, I'm going to make sure. I think you have a copy of it as an ebook. But
Yeah.
if your guests want to read this to get this COVID mindset to be actually health and wealth and an opportunity to be bigger and better, uncomfortable or not, this is an opportunity. But if you smile, you're reducing your blood pressure. You are obviously creating endurance. You're telling your cellular level to heal and be immune to disease, because you're actually, when you're not happy, you're toxic. And so you
Yes.
actually attract toxins. So you strengthen your immune system in a time like COVID. It's not just now, it's all the time. And the thing that's kind of cool about a smile is it's recyclable. When you give a smile to somebody, they give it to others. So it just keeps rippling. And when I did the Science of Smiles, even though this is going to sound um, kind of simple, it's so profound what I'm about to share with you. So when your brain says I'm happy, it sends messages to your mouth muscles to smile, and so you smile. And the more you smile, the more happy you are, the bigger the smile is. Well, it's interesting, if you have nothing to smile about and you actually smile, it actually reverts back to your brain. You go, why am I smiling? I must be happy. And so it actually recycles the other way too.
Wow.
And so when you practice smiling, you're actually programming yourself to be a stronger leader, to attract more abundance, to be healthier, et cetera. And I can't emphasize enough that when I took my first deep dive, this is my 26th book. I haven't written a book since then. Last July, when I wrote this, I felt like this was a very culminating piece because it was my first real research deep dive into a topic. Everything
Hmm.
else was more either theoretical or experienced. This was me, and I got to give a big round of applause. I don't know if you know her, Sherry Rose. Sherry Rose.
I don't
Sherry
know
Rose.
Sherry Rose.
She was my partner, and she was so kind. She did a ton of research and helped me look really brilliant with this book. But I got to speak at a science technology um, energy conference because of her help with this research book. And if you're at a science conference, they want to know what are the chemical benefits, what is the actual
Right.
science. And so this book will serve to the subtitle is The Chemistry and Psychology of Happiness. So I hope your audience takes advantage of this free book because it
Yes.
will change their life.
So the science of, let me see it again,
It's
please.
The Science of Smiles.
The science of smiles. Okay, so if you're listening to this on the podcast, that's what the book is called, and we're going to have links for this on, everywhere on the description page, on YouTube, on my website, and then on all the streaming platforms.
I just
We
got
will have. Yeah.
I just got an idea, Diane.
What's the idea? Share
Well,
with me, Ken.
being a marketer, you gotta give to the world more value, right?
Yeah.
So either one, if you either want to do a Keep Smiling book or you want to connect with me and you impress me with the difference you're making in the world and you can show me you have a gorgeous smile like Diane does, we can always change the cover.
Ooh, there you
And
go.
so anyone that wants to buy this as a gift for lots of people, I would put Diane, your smile is so beautiful. I'd put you on the cover. I'd put the person who calls me. But that's one thing we love about these covers is they actually showcase people front cover that they're important and that they make a
Yes.
difference.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so how can people find out more about you and the Keep Smiling movement and everything that you're up to?
Well, my name, Ken Rochon, and mainly Facebook is where I play. I'm not that hip Instagram kind of guy. And if you go to Instagram, it'll be a long, long time before I address you. Same with LinkedIn. I'm very social, but if you want to go to the keepsmilingmovement.com, the keepsmilingmovement.com, that is a site that is constantly improving. So we aim to, I think this week it has the templates, so you can download the templates. You can actually do your own book. You can go to the store and buy the books, I think for 99 cents, the ebooks, and the money does go to the movement. And the movement, by the way, we didn't get to talk about that little part right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Do I have a minute? Do I have one
Oh,
minute?
yeah. Let's talk about the movement, please.
So, although the movement is really about the books right now and creating legacy for people that are leaders like yourself, Diane, what we want to do and are in the process of doing is partnering with dentists and finding their spot in a year, just 8 hour spot where they can donate a smile to someone that actually won't smile because they have either a tooth, a deformity, or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
we want the back of the book to show how that smile changed that person's life, because you have confidence when you can smile, you have happiness, you have self-love, everything. And it's so funny, but if you can't express that smile, you're actually hurting yourself dramatically.
Mm,
And the second
wow.
thing we want to do is people that have been perhaps in an abused childhood situation, we want to connect them to the mentors like yourself, Diane, where you take an hour a month, not in necessarily an hour, but you have a check-in once a month to make sure they're doing okay. It's kind of like a text thing. Hey, I'm here for you. I believe in you. I recently learned, probably November of last year, I worked with an organization called Made Men, and it was about men in DC that overcame their circumstances and became very successful. And one of the board members said, do you know what it takes for someone to be successful? And I said, I know some things, tell me. And they said, one person, one person to believe in you,
Mm,
and you will
wow.
actually finish 96% chance of finishing high school if you had only one person believe in you. I mean, not even a qualified person, just someone that believed in you. And I guess since we are in COVID times still, I'll just share a COVID secret about smiles.
Yes, please do.
I mean, because that's kind of unique.
Hmm.
So I wish I had my smile. I keep it in my car so I don't ever forget it, but I have a smile mask that's black and it has a smiley face on it.
I've
And
seen it. I've
yes, that's
seen
right. I
you
did
with it
post
on.
it. So the thing that's cool about it is you can never actually hide a smile. So when you put a mask
Mm,
on, your eyes actually show the zygotic muscles and show that your eyes are dancing and your soul is actually awake and alive and that you're actually sharing your smile. So I have a photographer out in Austin. Her name is Carmen, and she's making a book about the COVID mass smile. Like, you can still
mm.
smile and see a smile. And it's so cool that God actually said an authentic smile is said by your eyes, not your mouth.
Wow, that is beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Wow, Ken, I could talk to you all day about this. Again, you guys, Ken Rochon and the Keep Smiling Movement.com. Is
Yes.
that it? Did I say that
and
right?
we're
Oh, there you
and
go.
we're going to have Yorn amplified. We're going to have Yorn amplified to share your book soon.
Okay.
So there'll be a nice little a way of me thanking you about not just sharing your story in public on the book, but also to share it in public on the airways.
Look at what a good marketer you are. Okay, I don't know if you guys can hear the trash can. I mean, the garbage truck is going by out there. Sorry about it, but this is real life, right?
No, but listen, Diane, the fact that you're able to call them and tell them to do that kind of, like, that's a wake up that we are not trash. We are talking about we have today because they're taking the trash away.
They're
That's so
taking it
beautiful that you
away. That's right. They're clearing the space. It's all good. It's all good. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Ken. And again, this theme for the show was healing benefits of a smile. And the intention statement was, I have today to heal others with my smile. And for more information about me, what I'd like to offer the audience as a gift as well is a complimentary session with me. You know, if you're, especially now, feeling stuck, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like you don't know what your purpose is and what this is all about, and you're feeling feelings of anxiety and confusion, I'm going to offer you 30 minutes of my time complimentary at dianeforster.com/work with me. Just fill out the application, schedule your appointment, and let's talk about what might be in your future for you that you don't even know, and it's probably sitting right in front of you. So, all right. Well, that's it for this week's episode. Ken, thank you again so much for being here. You know I love and adore you and support you 1,000%. Thanks so much. Take care. We'll
Thank you.
see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.